Chapter 21 The Message. 12 hours earlier. Before the second perithnium reactor test could be carried out, a series of checks, double checks and triple checks were required on the complete system. A small army of workers milled and hummed around DG-001, maintaining the reactor, Die Glocke and the various support systems. Dr. Marlberg maintained a watching brief from the high-level control room, his eyes constantly scanning the room. Such was his concentration that when Heinrich entered with a brown file, it was a few seconds before he even acknowledged his two IC's presence in the room. "Sir, Dr. Marlberg, excuse me, sir." Forcing himself to avert his eyes from the activity below, Dr. Marlberg turned his head slightly. "Yes, Heinrich, what is it?" Taking a step forward, then bridging the rest of the gap with an outstretched hand, Heinrich offered the brown folder. "Dr. Marlberg, I think you need to see these." Accepting the folder with a similarly outstretched hand, Dr. Marlberg took the folder, and without looking brought it into his line of sight. The anonymous cover provided no assistance. He was going to have to actually open it and see what it held. Moving away from the window, a more normal Dr. Marlberg snapped an order to Heinrich to assume his position overseeing DG-001. Sitting at his desk, he opened the folder to find a single sheet of typed paper and a set of images. The paper stated time, elevation, longitude and latitude, ambient temperature and pressure when the images had been taken. Below the facts were a list of images, numbered with short descriptions. An introductory statement explained the images had been taken during an exploratory trip at the highly classified New Swabia site in Antarctica. Feeling extremely frustrated at anything even loosely related to the foolish enterprise in the southern hemisphere, Dr. Marlberg looked to Heinrich. "What is the meaning of this?" Heinrich was already expecting such a response and simply replied, "Please, sir, look at the photographs." Dr. Marlberg, already diverted from his primary goal, saw no point in resisting any further. It would be foolhardy to ignore something Heinrich had so deliberately placed in his hands. Taking a breath and rubbing his eyes in order to find the correct forensic state of mind, Dr. Marlberg reviewed the first image. The initial image was of the tunnel entrance with ring detail. Moving to the second image, the more limited light inside the structure combined with the camera flash made for sharper contrast images that forced the in-focus detail out of the page. In this case, that detail was the larger ring with peripheral icons. The third image seemed to be of another tunnel similar to the first with the same detail, but smaller and much darker. The typed description explained that this had been taken as they left a chamber within where the previous image ring was housed. Though all very interesting, nothing was grabbing his attention. "Heinrich, I can see that you think these are pertinent, but I am having trouble seeing the same possibilities." Heinrich was expecting this response too, and looking over his shoulder he simply replied, "Please, sir, look at the photograph, the fine detail and the time." Knowing Heinrich to not be an idiot, and not wasting even a second of Dr. Marlberg's time was truly a life-treating endeavor, he turned back to the images. Though captured in full color, the lack of light and bright flash made it virtually monochrome. The context of the image was intended to only capture the entrance itself, but by virtue of the position looking back into the tunnel and the nature of flash photography, what was visible of the chamber within had been captured in the momentary illumination. Dr. Marlberg pored over the image and finally spotted the one small detail that Heinrich must have been holding out for. A small blue spark seemed to be leaping from one side of the ring to the other. Looking at the cover sheet, he read the time of the photograph. "Heinrich, what was the time of the anomaly during the initial test?" Heinrich smiled as he looked out over DG-001. The penny had dropped. Turning to face his superior, he replied, "I think you'll find it says right there, sir."